All right, hey guys, welcome back. Today we are going to explore how to create an invoice PDF document in Visualforce, and then we're going to put this document in a screen flow, and it's going to look like this. So this is going to be the screen flow here. It's going to say welcome, click next to generate your invoice. You're going to click next, and then it's going to generate this beautiful PDF of an invoice where you'll be able to print it and save it, etc. So to do this, we first need an Apex class and a Visualforce page, and we will put it into a Lightning Web component, which can then be used in the flow. So let's jump right into it. So the reason we need the Lightning Web component for Flow is because at the moment we can't put Visualforce pages directly in Flow. So we can do this workaround here. So we're going to go to the Dev Console, you click this, and you click Dev Console. And here's mine. As you can see, I have an Apex class and a Visualforce page. And how to do that, you just do File, New, and then Apex class. And then you do also File, New, and then Visualforce page. So here's what I named them. And the code already exists for how to make an invoice. And I'm going to briefly summarize what we are doing here. And I'll be sure to give credit to the source of the invoice itself. So this particular invoice was done by Chris Marquez, and the link to his project along with the code will be in the description. So to highlight the main parts of the code from the project, we made an Apex controller class here that will populate the data into the Visualforce page. So these are getters and setters so that the Visualforce page can retrieve this data. And these are, we have account and list variables. So here's the account variable, and we have these opportunity list variables here that hold opportunities from a specified account. So we make the SOQL queries to store the data into these variables that we made. So as you can see, it's a specific account because we have this specific ID of the account. And I'll show you how to get this specific ID also. And in the Visualforce page here, you'll see that the variables are referenced, which we will get to in a minute. So if you want to do this yourself, you want to change the name of this ID here to your account ID. So in order to retrieve the ID of the account from which you want to get the related opportunities from and whatnot, so I'll show you how to do this. So if we want to get it from a certain account, we would just go here, click account, and we want to get it from Gene Point. And so here we have a Gene Point account, and as you can see, here is the ID of the Gene Point account. So we're just going to copy this from the URL, and we can just paste it here. So it'll say, take the ID, the name, all these things from this specific account. And then when we're making this opportunity variable, this list variable, we're going to make sure the account ID of the opportunity is equal to this account's ID. So this ensures that they're related opportunities to this account. This is saying where it is closed won, and this is saying where it's not closed won. So now for the Visualforce page that we make is going to be right here. And basically, Visualforce pages use these things called tags, which basically translate into what we see here into the interface that the user sees. So importantly, we want to use the apply HTML tag attribute and the show header attribute and set them to false in order to suppress the automatic generation of the HTML and the body tags so that we can make our own with ease. So we also make the render as PDF attribute here to convert this to a PDF. And basically I said that we queried the data and put them into these variables, and you're going to see these variables here. So if we scroll down, we have this account.name. So that's from the account variable. And you'll see this on the PDF. It'll say the name, the billing street, the billing city, etc. And then we have the information from the one opportunity list here. It's going to go here, and the not one opportunity list info is going to go here. I also just want to show you how to check the status of your Visualforce page as you're doing it, as you're working on it in the developer console. So if you go here and you type in Visualforce pages, all you do is you click, see the one we were working on was Invoice PDF. You click this, and you can just click Preview, and this is what it's going to show. It's going to show what it looks like in real time. So if you change code in the developer console, you can just refresh it here, and it'll reflect the changes here also. And if you want more info on how to use all these Visualforce constituents, I have a link that can provide some really helpful information. I'll put this in the description as well. So if I navigate to that real quick, it's going to be Lightning Design System. And for example, if I want to see how to make big text or scrolling text, I can go to Utilities and I can go to Text here. And then I can see heading size here. Like if I want heading size large, then it'll actually show an example of what code to write in order to make this sentence here large like this. And then the scrollable text, for example, things like that, you'll see here. So I think this is a really helpful website. So now we want to be able to put this in a screen flow. So we have the Visualforce page and the Apex class, and in order to get it into a screen flow, we're going to put it into a Lightning Web Component first. So I have a basic video on how to make a Lightning Web Component, which requires you to set up Visual Studio Code. And if I open Visual Studio Code here, so if you want an explanation on how to get Visual Studio Code and Salesforce CLI, I'll put the link to that video that I made in the description. So here is Visual Studio Code, and for this example, for this video, I just opened Visual Studio Code. I waited for all the extensions to activate and for everything to load, and I made a new Lightning Web Component named LWC Flow Example 1 here. And as you can see here, the 3 files, the HTML, the JavaScript file, and the meta file here. And as we see, if we go to the JavaScript file, we'll see that nothing has changed in this file. So we're not writing any logic, but in this HTML file, we have this iframe tag to embed the Visualforce page that we made. And this is the name of the Visualforce page we had. So if we go here, Invoice PDF is the name of the Visualforce page, and we just have it here. And it's also important to note that we have the height set to this and the width equal to this. So I would say it's really important because you would think like the height and width should be 100%, but if I make it 100%, watch what happens. So I'll just do 100%, and then I'll save it, and then I'll deploy this to the org. Successfully ran, so let's go to the org. So here's the org, and let's refresh it. Basically, if we use the screen flow again, it's going to hit next, and it's going to generate the PDF, but it's not going to allow you to print it or download it or anything. So if we do this here, save it, deploy it, then it's going to allow us to see. Yeah, so then we just refresh this. Next. And voila, you'll be able to download it, print it, etc. So if we go back here to VS Code, we're going to go to the meta file here. And we also have to change this file. We have to change is exposed to true from false to true. And then we added this Lightning flow screen target so that the Lightning Web Component can be exposed and accessed from our flow screen. So yeah, last thing I will show is just the screen flow that I made and how I made it. So all I did was I went to setup and I typed flow, and then I made a new one. I made a new screen flow, and it takes you here. And I just made first of all, I made it from auto layout to freeform. I dragged a screen flow element here, a screen element here, and this is just a welcome screen. So I made it so the headers, I unclicked this so the header wouldn't be there, and also you need the footer here, so it says next. But for here, this is just display text, and I made the API name welcome message, and I said welcome, click next to generate your invoice, and finish with that. And then we just go, that takes us to another screen. And it's important to note that once you deploy your component from Visual Studio Code to the org, then that will show up here, and you can then just drag that here. And since it's a PDF, as we mentioned, it's going to actually show as a PDF. And then just make sure you save it and you activate it. And then you would go here. This is on just the home page of the org. So I would click setup. I would click edit page. And then all you would do is you'd search for the flow component. You would drag it here, and you would just make sure you select the flow that you want. So I did flow invoice example was the name of it. So I'm just going to delete this new one because it's redundant. So this is what I have, flow invoice example, and just save it and activate it. And then you just hit back and it should show perfectly on your homepage. So yeah, that's how it's done. And again, I'll put the links that I talked about in the description, and hope you're able to learn a thing or two. And thanks. We'll see you in the next one.